What's going on, fam? Hope everybody's doing well out there. Welcome to another lovely traditional Tuesday video. So we've got a 2 for Tuesday going on today. So I've got a couple of the new real steel slip joints. I'm actually kind of excited about these. So Real Steel and I kind of have a bit of a checkered past. I mean, some of their stuff has really kind of been a little overblown for me. These, one of these at least is really freaking cool. So we have the Serenity slip joint with black G10. There is all of your information. And then we have the Ventus with the sandblasted titanium. So I'm not going to make you guys sit through an unboxing. You guys know what these things come with. If you don't, inside the box, really only thing you get is the Real Steel microfiber, as well as some information on the knife itself. So this is the Serenity. So this is the first one we're going to take a look at. We'll go straight through the specs here. So you do get these really nice spec sheets, which this is one thing that Real Steel does very, very well. So there you can see your blade length is 3.4 inches, thickness is 0.12, open length, so overall length is 7.9, so dang near an 8-inch knife, and then you are 4.5 inches closed. It is N690, G10 or wood. That's something we're going to talk about as well. And then you have a 3.5 ounce weight slip joint, and there is your designer, Ivan Braganets. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. But yeah, so pretty good looking knife. So it is a traditional, or a modern traditional, I should say. You do have a pocket clip and you have a screwed construction. So let's go ahead and just jump right on into this guy, take a closer look at it. So there you can see you do have kind of a shadow box frame there. So you do have the liners that are standing proud of the actual G10 scales. G10 is micro milled, so it's got really nice texturing on it. They did a fantastic job on that, which if you have seen my the other Real Steel videos I've done, mainly the first one where I kind of really had an issue with the cost and the pricing on the knife. One thing it really had great was the micro milling. There you can see your screws are all perfectly flush. You do have a nice lanyard hole there, fairly substantial lanyard hole. Of course, being a slip joint, you do have a full length back spacer here because you have the back spring. Back spring does have some jimping there. It is not at all functional, so not at all functional on that. It is really nicely crowned though, so it is very comfortable. Pocket clip, so you do have a very deep carry reversible pocket clip, so you can see there it does slip into either side. Oh, come on, why aren't you focusing? So you can see it slips into either side with your single screw. Fantastic design there. I don't like the bill sticking up that far, so it does have a pretty large bill on the clip. That could be a potential hot spot. I haven't really found it yet on at least in my hands the way I hold the knife, but depending on how you hold the knife, that does dig into the hand. And then again here you've got your pivot side, clip side. Pivot does have a little bit of kind of stand out there. Let's see if we can get it to focus. That's just from where the scales are contoured. You get it a little bit on this side as well, but overall, no real issues there. We are perfectly centered right down the middle there. And then you've got that same jimping on the blade. It is, again, fairly useless jimping. It's a little better on the blade itself than it is there, but it's still not great. Outside of that, beautiful knife. Take a look at the blade. So here we have a really nice swedged harpoon drop point. Got a single nail nick there. Really nice satin finish on the blade. They have the Real Steel branding there on the side. And then on this side, you have the N690 and the designer's logo. Looks like some sort of a beetle, a mandibles or something there. Taking a look at the grind. The grind looks to be really good, really well done. Looks to be very symmetrical. Pretty much non-existent sharpening choil. And tip looks perfect. Edge, the edge feels scary sharp on this thing. Feels very, very grabby, very bitey. I'm pretty early, so these are from the Lefty Pass Around. I'm pretty early in the Pass Around group, so this one may be one that I go ahead and do a test on just to see how it does. So here we'll take a look at the screw machining, and that is perfect. Perfect there. Check the T6s on the other side. Fantastic. Fantastic there, and we'll check the T8. So far everything is looking great. You got a little bit of wiggle on that one, but not bad at all. So yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the knife as a whole. So again, great little slip joint, or big slip joint I should say. It does feel good in hand. Like I said, if I choke up on it or choke back on it like I do with the the 50/50 thumb grip there, that pocket clip just kind of disappears. But if I hold it just slightly differently, so if I just rotate it a little bit to where I can get out to that harpoon there, again, that's not where I would typically hold the knife because you can simply easily do that. But you do feel that bill of that pocket clip pretty bad. But again, in the normal grip, I don't really feel it at all. Thankfully, they do have a little bit better jimping there on the blade, because with that, when you kind of get into that grip, you do lock in a little bit there. But it would still be nice to have a little more effectiveness on this jimping on the back. So you can see your back spring there rise up. So again, it is a standard traditional. Now you do have a quarter stop instead of a half stop. That's just more of a traditional European style, if I understand it correctly. Most European slip joints do a quarter stop or 3/4 stop, however you want to look at it. Pull strength on this one is not very strong. If you've messed with many case knives, it's very reminiscent of just like a like a large trapper, case large trapper. Most of them have a fairly easy pull on them. Does still have pretty decent sound to it though. So could just be because of the length of the blade that it's a fairly easy pull. But I have no real issues with this knife at all. Like I said, a few nitpicks with the jimping and the pocket clip, but if you're going to carry a pocket clip or carry a traditional with a pocket clip, a big one is the way to go. I mean, this thing it's still capable where you could just drop it into a slip or just toss it in your pocket. Easily just remove that pocket clip and you could do so. But the pocket clip is really it's really nicely done. Just the other than the bill, it's got good strength to it. It's got good retention to it. The micro milling on the G10 works really well for helping with that. But just wish I had a little better jimping there. But outside of that, fun little knife. Yeah, I keep saying little. It's not a little knife. It's a full-size slip joint, and it's like I said, it's done pretty doggone well. Pricing on this guy, you're looking at right around $85. I'd really like to see that down a little bit. I mean, I don't know. It's not too outlandish. $85 is for N690. It is done really well. It is fit and finish is really good. But I said I don't think it's too far out on left field. I do think it's probably, you know, $10 or $15 overpriced, maybe even a little bit more. But again, that is just my opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. You do have a couple of different scale options with this guy. So you can get it in either wood, and I think there's 3 different types of wood. And then they have like a blue and black acrylic as well. So, and then you can get the 3 different kinds of G10. I think there's black, purple, and like an off-white. They call it bone or something like that. G10. So a couple of different options there. All of them except for the purple, I believe all of them except for the purple have a satin blade. I think the purple has a black blade in hardware. Again, I could be wrong there. I just kind of tried to very quickly go over this knife before doing this video. But again, pretty cool knife. It is a nice size. You know, like I said, that's you know, one of the main reasons I do think it's okay to have the clip on there. If it were any smaller, you know, it's just a pocket dropper, just throw it in the pocket. But it's funny, Sharif and I and a couple of the guys at Blade Show were actually talking about clips on traditionals, and I think there was I want to say it was a Giant Mouse. I can't remember what it was, but they had a smaller, it was like a fairly small slip joint. And we pretty much all came to the same conclusion that if that knife was bigger, it would be perfect for having that pocket clip, but because of the size it was, the pocket clip just didn't make any sense. This is a case where, like I said, the pocket clip makes sense to me. So, alright, well, without any further ado, we're going to jump right into the next one. So the next one is the Ventus. So this one is titanium N690, and this one has a few tricks, it has a trick that's really interesting on this, and this is where one of those ones where I don't know if the sum of the parts works for the pricing, but the trick that it has kind of gives it a little leg up where I would pay, this knife is $150, I would pay $150 for this knife. Even though it's N690, I would pay the $150 for this guy. So definitely worth it there. So let's go ahead and crack right on into here. All right. So there you have your pivot. You've got a little bit of milling, a little scalloping there. It is milled out and chamfered everywhere. Really interesting design work there. You have a very nice lanyard hole there. Again, very flat screws, very well inset. Of course, you know, being a slip joint, you do have a full back spring, and there is some jimping on this back spring back here, and it's way more functional. I wish it was up here, but being back here, it is still very functional. We are dead centered, really nice titanium pocket clip, and I mean, this is a really well done pocket clip. It works great in the pocket. Again, there is the back side of your pivot. Again, same scalloping. Everything looks great here. All the fit and finish looks fantastic. Let's go ahead and take a look at this blade. So here we have a really nice flat ground clip point, and this is a really nasty looking clip point. It comes down to quite the tip there. You have a fuller nail nick, whatever you want to call it there, a really massive fuller on the blade, and you do have some swedging as well. Of course, the standard real steel stuff on the side. Then there you have your N690 and your Poltergeist Design Works logo. Decent sharpening choil, so you can see where your plunge grind ends are right there, so you do have a decent sharpening choil there. The grinds all look to be pretty stellar. Everything looks good there. Let's go ahead and back on up here. Did want to show you guys the specs on this guy. So we are just over a 3-inch blade, just over 7.1 inches overall. Again, N690, 3.4 ounces. And then there, the Poltergeist works. Yeah, fantastic little slip joint. Has a really great walk and talk. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hardware here. So all T8 hardware on this guy. We got just a little bit of slop there, nothing bad. Again, exactly the same on that one. 0 on the pivot. And exactly the same there. So everything except the pivot has the exact same amount of play in the pivot. So what is it I was talking about the trick with this thing? So if you haven't already seen it, these things have this here, the adjustable tension system. So you can adjust from low, medium, and high backspring tension. And it does make a considerable difference. So you can hear this thing has pretty good walk and talk right now. I mean, it's pretty damn good. But you can adjust that. There right now it's currently on medium. So if I take and turn this and it'll click. So click one time. Now it's got a heavier backspring to it. Now personally, I think the medium, and so the way this is set up, so if you're on high like it is now, you can click it one more rotation, be in medium, or back to medium. So I think the medium gives you kind of the perfect blend of sound, walk and talk, and ease, being able to open it and close it fairly easily. Because of how that clip point is, you don't have anything out here to grab a hold of, so you're kind of pulling almost at the pivot, which isn't bad. Like I said, even on the heavier tension, it's not terrible. It's harder to use. Now, great thing about the quarter stop or 3/4 stop, whatever, is it makes it really easy for you just to drop it down like that, and you not have to really worry about anything. Again, fantastic system. I think it's really cool. On its lightest setting, it is really light. I don't think anybody would really use that setting. However, if you have weaker hands or it's harder for you to pinch stuff, then that lower setting is certainly going to work for you. It just doesn't give a whole lot of confidence on, as far as I'm concerned, on the blade retention. But it's still in there enough. It's not just going to come flopping out in the pocket. There's constant spring tension there, so it's not anything you got to worry about really. Yeah, I really like this thing. I like the blade shape. It's a great looking clip point. I like a lot of stuff that Poltergeist does. Love the clip design. Overall ergonomics on the knife are really good. You do not feel the clip at all. You can get a decent sharpening tool. I would like there to be a little bit of jimping there, but again, it's just a nitpick. It doesn't really bother me too much. I don't mind N690 steel. It's a great steel. It really is. It's just not a, it's what I consider a budget steel. But again, when you're looking, you got your titanium, and you have something more than just a freaking, more than just a backlock. That was my issue with the first knife, and I can't even remember. I think it was a Luna Mias, something like that. It was around the same size knife. I think it was the same price. If not, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. It was around that $150 price point, but there was no real innovation there. It was just a backlock knife. I mean, again, it was N690 and titanium, but I had some issues with fit and finish and stuff as well. So, but This one, I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. I think the innovation is worth the price of admission. Fantastic knife. I actually have this knife on my list now. I think they offer in a couple of different variations, but I might just get the plain tie just so it can be anodized. So it does give you the ability for level 0 is used to disassemble the knife. So you do have the ability to disassemble this knife, which is nice because, I mean, if you've got the screws on a modern traditional, it is nice to know that, disassembling it is not a no-no. But yeah, anyway, fantastic little knife. I really do dig this. Like I said, I like the other one as well. The Serenity, just not as much. So there you can kind of see a size comparison. They're not wanting to cooperate laying the right way, but there you can kind of see, get them pivot to pivot. So the Serenity is not a ton bigger. Handles are, let's see if we can put them side by side with the handles here, so I'm not worried about clanging the blades together or anything. There we go. So line them up there. So there you go. So about 1/4 of an inch difference there in the handle length. And then, like I said, the blade length is, a little less than 1/2 inch difference in blade length. So 3.03, so it's 0.4 of an inch difference in blade length. So again, not a massive blade length difference, especially when you hold them there. So there you go. What you guys think? So I do think that the Ventus, is it right? Yeah, Ventus. Dadgummit, I done forgot the name now. Yeah, Ventus. I think the Ventus is the better buy there. I do think this one, like I said, I think that's going to be in my collection before too long. Really nice slip joint that you can actually clip to the pocket. So anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all as always. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing. As always, just remember, when you're out in the real world, be kind, be humble, be EDC. Y'all take care.